Hello, my name is Honey from Valley Erdball, and you are listening and looking to Scene World Podcast.
Hello!
Hey, blah, 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 blah.
Welcome to the Scene World Podcast.
Yes.
So
I'm
this
AJ.
is our
That's your.
true. No lies. This is our Gamescom episode, our special episode. We didn't record a Gamescom episode for some years now. Now it's time to do it again. And so
Because it was
what
tough to do the last couple of years because, there was one last year, but the year before, or actually maybe even earlier, like 2020.
No, the last 2 years there were one.
Yeah. But in 2020 there wasn't. That was all remote.
Yes,
There
in
wasn't a whole lot that we
2021
could
too.
talk about.
Yeah, and 2021 too.
Yeah, right. So, but now they're. In fact, the second one, the 2022 one, was not as. Yeah.
No.
21,
There was
21.
one. There was one 2020, 2021, and 2022. They did it officially again.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember there being one that was completely remote.
There were two completely remote. That
Right,
was
right.
2020 and 2021. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that. There was one of them that I remember better than the others. I think the first one, the 2021, that one was a lot of. That was the second one. It was different because they had the what was that that kind of online Gather, right? Yeah, they did a lot of it through Gather. It was a little different, but it was interesting. It was a little bit less interactive, kind of, because, in the first one, I'm sitting in the U.S. I was actually involved with it for once, doing, panels and stuff like that, remotely. But the second one, I was just a little avatar wandering around the screen, harassing people.
Yeah, that's true. The 2020 one, we only got. Well, we only got one panel. Because everybody only got one thing.
Right.
And in 2020, everybody got multiple things to stream. That's different. Yeah. I mean, which one was better? I don't know, but
well, they both had. They both had strong points and weak points. The first one, which was all remote, and we were actually, I was actually involved in the day-to-day for once. We've been talking about me going to Germany for this thing for years, and that was the year that we were actually going to do it. I was actually going to go there, and then COVID happened, and it never happened. So
right.
But I did a lot of it from here. A lot of streaming and all that stuff, and I was at least in the streams for quite a lot of it, and. So it was cool in that respect, but I didn't get to do much interacting with random people, which I did get to do in the second one because again it was in Gather. So you're just walking around and there's people there and you're interacting with their little icons. It's like a habitat or whatever kind of thing where you're walking around top down.
Right.
But so I was, and then you go up to somebody and their video feed pops up. So it was a lot of, me and Senad screwing around and harassing people. So yeah, it was cool in that regard because I got to interact more with people there. But in the first one, I was
you pronounced it wrong. According to Bill Winters, it's Senad.
Well, yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. So yeah, it was they were both cool, but for different reasons. But yeah, so I wasn't at this one, so I didn't get the full experience.
Yeah.
Maybe one of these days, one of these years, I'll get there.
Yeah, next year hopefully. Well, the thing with this year is I wasn't sure if I would be there because of my work situation, but turned out I was finally able to. But actually, I booked my plane ticket 4 days before the actual event.
Right,
because I wasn't so sure about whether I can attend or not. So it was a last minute thing for me.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, good thing. I mean, one thing that happened, for example, is we got a secret presentation at PlayOn, which is actually the new name of Koch Media, and Darren Mayburn and presented the Spectrum ZX, the full-size Spectrum ZX. The first one that contains all 4 models in one.
Does
the original.
Does it have the shitty membrane keys or whatever they were? The chickless?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. And now I forgot the name. Now I forgot the name of the technical director of Limited of Retro Games Limited. His name was Chris, but what was his last name again? Let me. Yeah, Chris Smith. Chris Smith. So the presentation was with Darren Mayburn and Chris Smith, and Chris Smith said the hardest was to actually make the Chinese manufacturer understand what the feel of the original rubber keyboard should be, because they only got some units from eBay which were like 40 years old, and they couldn't get it right. So he told me in the interview that he actually flew to China to the factory and showed them firsthand what the rubber keyboard should be.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now because I guess it's up on their website now.
Yeah, since 3 p.m. today.
Yeah, it's yep. It looks just like the Spectrum. It's a little thing with the rubber keys. Yeah. Did they ever make a version of that with real keys?
Pardon?
Did they ever make? They did make a version of that with real keys. The Spectrum Plus 2 had a little tape deck built in.
Perhaps.
Yeah, there were a couple. I think there were a couple of versions that had real keys that weren't. I can't imagine trying to code anything on that with those little, it would make me so angry. The Spectrum Plus, the Spectrum 128, the Spectrum Plus 2, Plus 3, they all had Plus 2A, they all had real keys. And then the Timex, the Sinclairs, they had those shitty rubber things. That's what you could get here in the U.S. was the Timex Sinclair.
Yikes.
So, did you get to see it function, like operate?
Yes.
All right. How was it compared to? Oh, I mean, I don't know if you have any experience with the Spectrum.
I only saw it once when I was visiting Andrew Fisher. In
yeah, but he would have one.
Exactly. That was actually the first and only time I saw a ZX Spectrum. So
there were a couple of clones made. There was the let's see, the ZX Uno, I think, was one. That I don't know if that ever happened. If that ever happened, the Vega. That was.
The Vega that was basically a vaporware because it was a scam. Yeah.
Yeah, that was produced by Retro Computers Limited. That had the backing of Clive Sinclair actually, but it didn't have a keyboard. I guess it did exist. I think the Vega Plus that came after that, because the original Vega was just kind of like it was a plug into the TV kind of thing.
Exactly, the Vega Plus was the fake. One that never happened.
Yeah, there were a couple of them. Like they sent out a couple of prototypes to customers, but they pretty much sucked. And then the entire company fell apart in 2019.
Exactly. And Phil Adam was part of that, which is who is now CEO of Intellivision.
Womp womp.
Womp womp. Yeah, well, anyway, it's pretty neat. Also, also, let me see. Oh yeah, also we had another interview which will soon be up. All the interviews, I'm striving to have them released this week. We had another interview with Lual, the Swiss completely female deaf team of two
the
Swiss German women.
Yeah, it was responsible for I does not
I doesn't exist.
Yeah,
exactly.
I doesn't exist. Yeah, which was actually
Exactly.
which is a really good kind of a point and click adventure game.
No, they call it text adventure.
That was text adventure.
It's
That's
a
right.
text
Yeah.
adventure.
It messes me up because there is there is graphics to it. You're typing, but it's not in my brain. A text adventure is nothing but text.
Yeah, but there were two types in the history of text adventures.
I know.
Text adventures and text adventures with a little graphic.
Yes, right.
Yeah. And now
had a lot of graphic.
Yeah. And now their newest product is Elrich Empathy.
Okay.
So we will have an interview about that as well.
Yes.
Right? And also we had a couple of other interviews. For example, with the Serbian dev studio Bohemian Pulp about Let Bygones Be Bygones, which is actually a pretty neat pixel how to say cyberpunk game.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's actually pretty neat. So that's one thing. And it actually has been released already, April 30th
Okay.
this year. So they presented the final product this year at Gamescom. At last year, the game wasn't released yet. Okay. Obviously, because that was August 2023, and the game was released April 2024. All right, and other things we had interviews with Assemble again.
With who?
And Ensemble. Sorry, I pronounced it wrong.
Ensemble.
Okay. Ensemble. Exactly. So that's also coming up. Okay. And well, a few other interviews. But those, I guess, were the main ones.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Let me think. Did I miss something? No, that were actually the main ones. There will be more coming up, and Dennis already started posting on it about it on X.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. So watch the space, I would say. Well, I mean, what? Oh, sorry. Now. Oh shit! Holy crap!
You're right there.
Actually, unplug my headphones. 1 second. Holy crap! I don't understand the word. Wait a second. Oh Jesus! Oh my god! What a shit! Because I have a separate volume control, and I actually kicked it with my feet. We are back in the game. I can hear you again. That happens to me a couple of times.
Yeah.
Anyway, good that this isn't live. I can edit it out, and it will sound absolutely fun and amazing. Yeah, I mean, perhaps you saw it. We actually have already a Gamescom trailer on X, YouTube, and other platforms.
Right.
Yes, and What else to report? I mean, it was Gamescom. It was nice to see people again every year and have interviews and see what's going on, you know. So pretty neat. Pretty neat. Oh yes, there is a news I should mention. John Romero released his book.
Oh yeah.
Doom Guy.
Okay.
In which he wrote about his story of developing Doom. So I invited him for another visit at Scene World. Let's see if he agrees to be a guest on the podcast.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome because I've spoken to him before as a historical interview, and would be nice to talk to him about the book. And also, Terminal announced his new Kickstarter. He's actually working on a new album, and this is the first time he's actually going crowdfunding. And this will be an album for the Virtual Boy.
Oh,
and
okay.
the Kickstarter will start September 1st. And I actually sent you an invite to the interview for the podcast September 2nd.
Okay.
So he will be a repeated guest on the podcast, which is fun because for the first time I had to nag him 5 years until he finally did the interview with me. And now he's actually coming there because he's doing crowdfunding. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
That's pretty neat. So if things play out, we already have 2 guests for September. John Romero and Joerg Ritterhaus. Thanks to Gamescom. I was like, wow, nice. You see?
Yeah. Cool.
Yep.
That.
Wonderful. Yes, so even though John Romero wasn't at Gamescom, it's nice to have some news in that regard. I mean, he is a legend, an industry legend.
Yeah, we had didn't we have his wife on?
Yes.
Yes.
His wife we had on the podcast.
Yes.
And John himself we had as a historical interview.
Right. So we've got some history there.
Yes, it says. The reason why we had her as a podcast guest was actually because I made a mistake when I did the interview inquiry. I said podcast and I actually meant historical interview. And then, of course, her assistant was like, confirm her guest appearance on the podcast. I was like, okay, sure.
Right, yeah.
I mean, seeing that we didn't do a historical interview ever since, it's pretty neat. I guess
that was the last one?
Okay. The last one was let's see. The last one was actually an English version with Frank Erstling that I translated and released in December 2022. And the original last interview, historical wise, was February 11th. And that was actually the German version of the interview with him.
Okay.
So that means no historical interviews since February 2022.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't really feel very motivated seeing that the podcast was very successful, but the historical interviews not so much.
So to talk about our booth this year at Gamescom. What was going on there?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, we had Stefan Koch with his game Agony on the KC 86, which is actually a former wait a second. Yeah, which was actually a former GDR computer.
Right.
And so Agony is actually a game that is from the Amiga, and he converted it to the KC 86, the GDR computer.
Yeah, Agony is that thing where you're flying around as an owl, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I've got
So
that
he
game.
converted that to the GDR computer, which was quite amazing. So people were actually looking forward to it. And then Martin Wisnowski, Notepont, was actually presenting a prototype of his game, which I think was called. Oh wait, I mean I can look it up. I have it here. Yes. Wait. Let me look at the photo. Wild Honey. So, and he presented his Wild Honey
Okay.
prototype. And the last one was Dennis, aka Remute. He presented his music album for the C64. That is not really new, but he's still selling it. So
Okay.
that means we had our booth with the games, our Gamescom booth with the magazine, the latest issue, 34. We had Wild Honey as a game. We had Agony as a game, and we had the music album from Dennis. So we had a variety of different content on the booth, and not just the disc mag.
Okay.
And it was pretty neat. We almost handed out all of the 1,000 postcards that I got printed.
Okay, nice. How many did you get
That's
printed?
1,000.
Okay, and they almost all got taken?
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
not bad.
That means originally I planned to print 500. That would have been way too little as an amount. So, yeah. So 1,000 were just barely enough. So we don't have enough left over for the next year. I have to get some reprinted. Yeah.
Okay.
And as you can see on the photo on X, what Martin did as a booth decoration, actually printing out every single logo we ever had at the Scene World magazine. And on the top in the middle, there's actually yours saying Scene World magazine, just like a caption, sort of. If you look at the photo right now.
Where is that?
You should.
Where
Perhaps you should remove the hand from your mouth if you want people to understand.
Where's the photo?
X.
Oh, X. Okay. X. Let's see. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice.
Interesting that yours is the only logo actually resembling our homepage logo with the rainbow colors and saying magazine in it. All the other logos don't say magazine in it.
And I tried really hard to get that font down too.
Exactly, but just in white instead of black. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
So
I gotta do another one of those.
that would be nice. Yeah, and for the first time for many, many years, Victor wasn't there this year because he went to the Brazilian Gamescom instead.
Oh, there was a Gamescom in Brazil too, huh?
Yes, in Sao Paulo. The first one in Brazil, and he went to there instead of Gamescom. It actually happened before Gamescom. But compared to 500,000, they only had 1,000 visitors. And the fair space was. Pardon?
We get any footage or anything from that?
He sent me some photos.
Okay.
I don't know if he took some videos, but he sent me some photos. Oh,
Okay.
and another thing that actually happened, because Martin showed me, you know, the Me Too thing?
Yeah.
Some years ago actually caused restrictive clothing rules for the cosplay area at Gamescom, right? Well, that changed now.
Oh yeah.
Let me show you on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'd say that changed.
That changed. That changed. Yeah.
Nice angles.
Well, Martin is reckless. He took the opportunity. Yeah.
I don't know if we'll include those images in the video version of this, but.
You mean with censorship or without?
Well, I don't know if you need to censor anything there, but.
I don't know. Are butts allowed to be shown on YouTube? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so, as long as they're not like. Yeah, I don't. There's nothing showing there. There's things over it.
Yeah, well, depends on how you interpret it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I saw worse in the years before, but it's getting there again.
Okay, yeah. It's getting back to normal.
You know, I mean, there are cosplays where you literally have nothing.
Right.
On your butt. Nothing.
Yeah.
Not a single thing. And you are wondering, like, is there something hiding somewhere? But there's nothing, seriously. Anyway, I mean, I wouldn't, if I was a woman, I wouldn't wear it either, but hey, some are so much fans. I actually sent it to a cosplay friend of mine in Bulgaria, and she was like, yeah, it's like this and that cosplay. I'm like, okay, yeah, you are the expert, you know. I don't know. I was just like, holy cow, we are back. Well, I mean, we had this interview with the Jamaican All Gamers group, and they said, this is totally madness that because of Me Too, you don't have any crit girls in Formula One anymore and all that stuff, and you have clothing rules at cosplay events and stuff. So,
see, I don't remember that being a consequence of the whole Me Too thing. It was more that just dudes were being held accountable for being raunchy and inappropriate. But I don't remember any restrictions on what women did.
Well, anyway, it seems like they changed it back to wear whatever you want, as long as you're not completely naked. We are fine with it.
Right.
Right. Well, so that would be all from my side. I mean, we made a quite nice 30 minutes edition here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, looking forward to 2025.
Yes, indeed.
Certainly. Talk to you then. Bye-bye.
See ya.
See ya.